What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Red candles here, 60.77, already down 10 points or so. Oh my gosh. Thanks, JJ. Appreciate it. Yeah, so let me get my tool refreshed, ready to go. If you're looking at SPX, 6120 and 6,000. If you haven't already, switch over to SPX, draw a line at 6,000, draw a line at 6120. And then after that, right-click on the line and add an audio alert, a little bell that goes ding whenever it crosses that price. That is the major call wall. That is a major put wall for SPX option chain, and that is the point where we have been bouncing off of and rejecting for weeks now. If you want to look for range expansion, those are the levels on which you need to pay attention to. If it breaks one, we'll probably fly to 6,200. If it breaks 66,000, risk off. That's all she wrote. Yeah, jumping out of a plane without a parachute sort of thing. As the price is the same as it was in July and has been back and forth, let that be a reminder to everyone that likely every single trade you've made in the last few months would have been a winner at some point. Small position size will let you stay in the game. There you go. Speaking of Valentine's Day, this weekend my wedding band broke. I used one of those silicone workout rings and it snapped on me. And I ordered one and it's like a 2-week lead time. So I took a permanent marker and drew a ring on my finger. I gotta keep the brand. It's like when a cattle gets out of the farm, man. You gotta let it know who owns it. Whoopah! Love it. All right, 60.78 here. ES is dropping back over just a touch. NASDAQ is doing the same, 21,757. Y'all know what I'm looking for. Coming on down. What's up, Azor? How you doing, buddy? Got some jowl from my neighbors. Isn't that like the face meat, the jaw meat of the pig? Beautiful. Yeah. Cheeks of the pig. There you go. Alrighty. Yeah, so today we are expecting some executive orders and tariff news from Trump. So be ready. If you are going to put on some sort of iron condor or short position for options, not futures, please set a stop and be ready and take profit quickly because we're in a headline risk environment. So until the tariff news kind of gets watered down, I would play cautiously with short options. Red candles here coming off, not a lot of movement. Very, very weak catalyst today. Now we do have a decent week for catalysts. We have J-Pow testimony manana. We have CPI. Of course, tariff news. So we have some nice stuff going on here. We don't have another FOMC until March. But yeah. Red candles, if we can get under 746, we're going to play lower. XLF getting smoked. RTY getting smoked. Microsoft getting smoked. VIX is up to 1630. And the Dow is top wicking as well. What was the SPX call wall? 6120. 6120. What is that? Sesenta Uno in Viente. What am I looking for today? Initially, I'm going to start out looking for a too much too fast rejection. A little bit of profit taking, liquidity move. I'd love to see 60-60 on ES. Anything more than that, cool. And then, of course, after that, we'll analyze to see if this is in fact going to reattack 6120 for on ES, not SPX. I know we're kind of confusing there because we're talking about 6120 on both names. But 6120 is where we rejected ES, and 6120 is the macro rejection on SPX. Coming off here, red candles. We have, like I said, virtually no planned catalyst today. But we do have a risk for headlines. So far, we have 260 million in puts being purchased, and they're in the process of selling some calls on SPX. XLF is getting destroyed. Huge red. Looking across the market, We have half and half red-green on the X's. The biggest winner of the day, NVIDIA is up almost 2%. Apple's up 1. Tesla's getting smoked 2.35. Oil, in my opinion, is a great short-term long at this area. It's taken out prior levels. I posted a analysis in the Signals channel if you want to take a look at why I think that oil is a short-term long. 64% of a government shutdown by March 14th. Yeah, buddy. XLF roasted. Small caps getting roasted. No surprise there. Bonds are back up to 89. VIX is up to 1635. If you notice, despite all this green today, the VIX is still carrying higher price. The VIX is still carrying 1630. It's still quite elevated. We're carrying a little bit higher IV on SPX. IV is now 21% at the money contracts, which is definitely elevated. It's not anything like FOMC IV, but it's still elevated off of, 14 to 16%, which is normal. So the market is a little bit cautious at the moment, given the higher IV, given the elevated VIX at the open, despite the green. And we all know why. Gold is absolutely blasting beyond 2,900. It's blown through all of my major upside targets and continue to go. The Dow and the Russell are still getting creamed like creamed corn. I used to love creamed corn when I was a kid. Now, not so much. I can't even remember the last time I've had creamed corn other than in cornbread. I used to eat creamed corn like soup. It's delicious. Coming down 60.72. That was when I was a kid, though. I just always used to eat butter off the stick. But hey. Alright, you jabronis. Red candle, 60.71. Nice red on ES. They've already dropped over about 17 points, still dropping. NASDAQ is not moving an inch. ES is going nicely because everything is getting smoked. Smoked. Huge, huge puts coming in, 470. Dropping. NASDAQ still unable to budge because NVIDIA is flying. But I think Apple's going to go here, and I think NASDAQ is going to take its turn. I played more ES and SPX options last week than I did NASDAQ, which is the first time I've done that in a while, and I had fantastic results. So I'm going to continue to that theme here, although I am considering a NASDAQ play this morning. I think I'm going to continue that theme. We'll see. Mark Zuckerberg tells the employees to buckle up for an intense year in an all-hands recording. How am I missing this open? NASDAQ's not moving. ES rolled over a nice 10, 15 points. I mean, NVIDIA's flying. I know you're an NVIDIA guy. The Gabagoo guy. But yeah. So far, ES is only down about 10 points from the open here in their bottom wicking. NASDAQ isn't moving an inch, so nothing crazy so far on the indices. The Dow is absolutely getting bamboozled, as is XLF. So the small caps are taking a bath this morning. NVIDIA is up 3%, off 133. And they are launching after taking out their prior high. So once NASDAQ accepted 129.30, that is a trigger for higher. And now they're retesting the 140 area. They're going for the 140 area, it appears. So they accepted higher, which means they're going for resistance, which is premium. Who's Volume Jesus? Was that like Anna Colling? Is she Volume Jesus? VIX 1640. VIX is climbing right on alongside the rest of the market, except for, of course, SPX and ES. Haven't taken a trade yet. VIX is climbing 390 and 400 puts, and they are selling calls here. So I think I'm going to take a downside position here. We're almost there. At least I'm getting ready. I'm within 4 minutes of my time frame here, so I'm just waiting. Zuckerberg trading in the Y for a new model. Oh my gosh. Super glad I closed out my meta put, but I do think that play will present itself shortly again. What do we got? Still red, 60.69 dropping. NASDAQ hasn't moved an inch. There we go. There goes ES down. NASDAQ's not moving. XLF is getting creamed. The bank's getting roasted. ES is down 20 points since that pivot at 9 o'clock. Love it. Love it. Look at the 30-minute. 30-minute support is 6062. The POC is just rejected again in this area. You're thinking 800 then down? I like it. I like it. We are 2 minutes away from my entry point, and that's what I'm going to wait for. NVIDIA is blowing past upper target. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. If you missed it, TradingView is having a Valentine's Day sale. So if you missed the Black Friday deal, go get you 70% off. RTY is getting smoked. They just rejected target, and they're coming down to 2823. So look at the POC shift on RTY. What does this tell you? This morning, at least. Hold on a second. Come on now. I can't get this thing to work. So the POC the past couple of days has been centered at 2280, 2285 for RTY. So it's coming on down for that now. If it breaks that, it's going to be a pretty robust downside signal for RTY. Now RTY is an easy product to short. If you're someone who likes to be a bear, maybe you need to center on RTY because they are well known for selling off everything the past months, quarters, years. NASDAQ not so much, and today is no different. RTY has pretty much been in the same range since December 18th, with a challenging again this lower 2280 and then 2250, at which point is coming on down. But that's the theme of this whole past couple of years is rotation out of tech into RTY, back and forth. Small caps. RTY isn't going to have fun if the economy slows down much. Yeah, which it's going to. It's going to slow down a little bit. Trump announces they're going to tell the Treasury to stop making pennies. I love it. Who needs a penny? But how am I going to get all my good luck? $6070. 6071. Interesting. All right, we are now in my imbalanced time frame. This is where I'm going to be looking for my play. Tesla's still getting creamed. Let's crank out some more dollar bills instead. Love it. Man, XLF is getting destroyed. Still going down. Dow. Microsoft is flat. Oh, man. Let's get something going, baby. 21% IV. IV has actually upticked just a hair since the open. Am I playing this? I haven't played it yet. But I am now preparing to play. Preparing to play. Right here at the 15. Aggressive top hook on the 240 ES. NASDAQ is gently shifting higher here. No imbalance play on NASDAQ yet. We have a little bit of call buying. Now the calls have already exceeded the puts. 400 million in calls here. I'm just monitoring a bunch of things. According to JP Morgan, retail traders had a record buying spree last week. They bought a net of 12 billion in cash equities, the largest amount on record. Google, Nvidia, and Tesla accounting for half of those flows. So Tesla still is the big participation trophy here. Yeah, and we saw that with the equities too. Or sorry, with the derivatives. Options flow last week on the Hero every single day was phenomenally huge. 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion. We never had a single day that was this kind of meh on the option chain. Either calls or puts, one of the two, or some days both of them, were very, very robust in participation. So it's kind of like, and yet we didn't really go anywhere. We had a lot of ups and moves and down moves for a flat week, relatively, within a massive amount of participation. So that's what continues to, for me, to lead that we are nearing a range expansion here. We just have to be patient and wait, which leads to swing trades. All those numbers for retail, not all of them, no, but there was definitely an uptick in participation across the board last week. And then JP Morgan just said that, retail had a record spree in addition to what I was seeing on the Hero. And maybe some of that, some things that came across the Hero was retail because, Spot Gamma puts a little footnote on the Hero tool that says, you could switch back and forth between institutional data and retail data on their tool, but it says it's what they consider to be retail or institution. So you don't know for certain, obviously. There's not a trade that comes across that's labeled as institution. It's just what they see, what they perceive as institution versus retail. So maybe some of that is retail. Nvidia flying. Apparently the halftime show last night was terrible. I'm seeing a whole bunch of comments about that. What happened? Was it good or bad? Didn't care for it. Terrible. It was way better than Rihanna. His music is not really Super Bowl type. I didn't mind, but I'm also a fan of both. Yeah, whenever I do listen to some rap, he's got some decent songs, at least in the world of rap. So I was just curious why people said that. He's a rapper, not an entertainer. See, that's a good point because some people can be fantastic musicians but not very good entertainers. So, that's a fantastic point. Help me figure out which of my coworkers are racist. Depends what was said. Depends what was said. I was glad I watched your video instead of the halftime show. Nice, I appreciate that. Maybe next year I can get a slot in for commercials. So 85,000 people singing Probably a Minor while Drake's ex-girlfriend Serena Williams decided to dance in the show. Huh. I am out of the times, man. Out of the times. Didn't even know they dated. 8 million for a 30-second commercial. Let's do it. Let's do it. 60.75 is the baseline liquidity here. Climbing back up. Come on, baby. NASDAQ is starting to put on a little bit of red. What time is it? It is 8:51. No 60.50 ES today? It's possible. I mean, they're still pressing lower. Everything is getting smoked for the most part, except for obviously the big guys. That NASDAQ short from 800? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Alrighty. Nice, Mojo. Well done, buddy. Well done. All right. Let's volume. We got on the 3-minute chart, ES has been flat since 9:36. ES is 6073 flat on the bottom of the range. Major puts are being purchased 424 million, and they haven't really done much in calls. They had a little brief spurt in call buying. Let's go take a look at the overall option support. We have 6030 is today's 0 DTE put wall. And then 60 up top, so 30 and 60, 30-point range is the call wall up top. Doesn't like gold can be shorted yet? Yeah, I wouldn't short that yet, not with all the economic risk out there. There's too much of a headline risk for me to want to short the gold, at least until the signs are there. But yeah. What's up, Invest in Muscle? How you doing, buddy? This is your brand on Trading Random Strategies. This is your brand on VPA. Those are great commercials. VIX 1622. IV is still holding strong at 21. So we're waiting for something. They're pricing in something. Maybe it's just the carrying the risk. A little bit of red. I'm going to switch over to NASDAQ for a second. I've been focusing on ES. NASDAQ just got over 800 and then rejected hard. That was support resistance. from Friday morning. That 800 range was bounced off of and then rejected a bunch of times on Friday before dumping, and we're just retesting that. So if they reclaim 800, then I would put a good likelihood on eating up a lot of that Friday move. Probably in the 900. Taking it easy today, Friday, amazing day, sized up. You know, after happens, there you go. There you go. What's up, Salim? Good morning, buddy. How you doing? Very muted open so far for NASDAQ. ES has been a little bit more directional, but not too fast. Bonds are flying. Love it. Bond trade's working out pretty well. Nothing crazy. Not going to make you rich, but you're not losing money either. So just buy the DAX. Yeah. DAX going crazy. Chinese markets weren't very green last night, too. Yields today are red. They've been dropping steadily for a good part of the month. VIX is 1627. Hold it up. I ditched NinjaTrader on IBKR. Seems a bit more calm. Nice. Yeah, IBKR is fantastic. Don't recommend their new software at all. Trader Workstation for the win. Let's see, SPY is hanging at about 21%, same thing. So the IVs are the same. ES is coming back up, 21,850 for NASDAQ. Is it a crazy idea to be in Apple puts counting on tariff news? Well, yeah. In addition to, they said that in retaliation somewhat, is that China is going to look to start investigating the practices of Apple on their App Store. So, possible, yeah. However, I would be aware of the fact that Apple is beginning to build domestic manufacturing plants. So if that continues to be the case, then we'll have a little bit of repatriation of manufacturing, which will boost their stock price. Thank you for posting the trade and balance video. I had that question for a while, and it's perfectly answered. Nice. Thank you. Why would higher manufacturing costs boost their valuation? It won't be higher manufacturing costs. Not once it's, I mean, maybe at first, but the long-term benefit of it. A-firm, yeah, exactly. Especially, you know, one thing that's not being talked about is going to be the China taking over Taiwan, which is still a risk, unless there's a conversation and a deal to be had that will shut that down. That's still very much a risk. So. Into 800. Man, this is slow so far. Here's the 10 o'clock time frame here. What's the hero doing? Call buying, put buying, both of them together, they're about equivalent in delta. Right here. SPY is 603. I don't think they take Taiwan with Trump in office. I agree. I agree. Are we looking for an upward skew? Seems like the algos already took over. So far, yeah. I mean, things aren't moving too quickly. ES had a nice little move down to 60, 68. They didn't quite get down to support, but we're coming up here. I think, we're kind of might be in a waiting phase at the moment with new executive orders being signed and new tariff news. But yeah. They didn't, but Biden, Trump, Obama, Chinese are not a war society despite their movies. I can't say much about that because, my briefings, but I assure you, their goal is to take Taiwan. They explicitly stated that, so that's not my opinion. Green candles coming up 60.80, 21.812. NASDAQ is still slowly creeping up here. No real move. No real massive move, but it's definitely creeping up. So no move down. NASDAQ is going for now probably 900. ES is coming up nicely here too. 630 million calls, 200 million in puts. Coming on down. SPY is 603.86. SPX is, okay, they're putting on more liquidity higher. GME pop, nice. Meet the new labor. Oh my gosh. There goes the VIX. I just want to get one of those robots to make me some lunch. Like brings me like a prosciutto sandwich every 12 at 12 o'clock every day. Heck yeah, man. I'd buy it. Would I ever buy a Tesla bot? No. No, I don't even trust people. I'm supposed to trust a robot? No, I'm good, bro. $60.80 ES is coming up. Looking for 86. We're through the 10 o'clock time and slowly moving back up. NASDAQ is slowly creeping here too. First iceberg of the day, right here at 60.80. Very small, but it's there. First big iceberg, I should say. Overall liquidity is 60.86 here. And plot your morning high and your morning low. We're about to attack the morning high right now, which is 604.11 on SPY and 608.13 on the low side. For ES, we're about to attack it now. Straight on bull move. We got 60.82. And then the bottom is 67.75. But it's doing the same exact thing the past 2-3 weeks, so nothing's changed. It's a slow, grindy bottom wicks the whole time. And then eventually we'll have an explosive big red move on repeat. That's all it is. Over and over and over again. NASDAQ has not dropped a penny yet since the open. It's been straight since Sunday night open. Straight bull move. Oh, all right, big green there. Explosion. We've got 2,000 volume just hit there too. 3,500 CVD. Another iceberg on the books. ES is coming up as well. Non-stop green, we just had a volume influx and then a huge pop on ES. Loved your video. Nice. Celsius, beautiful. Coming all the way up. Big volume. NASDAQ is straight up here too. They just passed through the 400-point mark and still going. Not a single period of selling the entire session. ES is flying. 60.67, new high of the day. And going. Typical Monday moves, baby. Let's go take a look at NASDAQ again. 21,850. Just another Maniac Monday? Yeah. That's the Mondays for you. Got a case of the Mondays. Let's see, 800 million in calls, 100 million in puts, so they sold off about 300 or 400 million in puts there, closed them, and still hammering into 0DT calls. High volume as we come into the pre-market high, which is expected. If we take out pre-market high, 6,100. If we take out 6,100, we'll reclaim every cent of Friday's move. All the way up. So as the volume's coming in here, they're reclaiming that top wick on ES. So you're in danger of taking out 60.88, which is going to roll a 6,100 right here. So this is a pivotal moment here for either side of the tape, especially with the options chain. And ES is still filling higher on increasing volume, which is, yeah, they are putting on some liquidity back down, 60, 75, and 80. But I'm looking around the tape here. Financials are selling back off, so the banks are dropping all the way back over. But once again, tech is rallying. So tech is still, no surprise, plunge protection team. Watch, you're about to see a massive green candle if it takes this to 6,100. NASDAQ is still launching. I got 24 hours to make sure it's in the money. Oh, GameStop. Yeah. Very, very, very high volume candle right here on the 5-minute. It's almost taken out the opening candle. XLF is getting destroyed. Huge red on XLF. About to overtake the opening volume. Let's see what they do. Ratings. Uncertainties over the state of U.S.-Mexico relations could persist until 2026. So that's something we've talked about, is the ratings. You got to watch these ratings because they start talking about devaluing the rating on the treasuries is when I'm going to dump my TLT, at least temporarily, perspective. If they start reducing those, then it's game off for treasury play, at least temporarily. So if ES takes out this level, it's going to fly to 6,100. It's still pressing. Despite the volume, despite XLF, it's pressing into it. Incredibly high volume candle at the 10.05, and it hasn't top wicked yet. So it's right here. We have liquidity coming on here, just up at 6,100. 1.1 billion in calls, so the call activity continues. Incredible, incredible call buying volume. What can they do? Colorado's going to get more snow almost all this week, so your powder should be great. Excellent. Love to see it. Love to see it. Got about 3 weeks to my trip. I can't wait. It's the best time of the year. Amazon to the moon. Banks are getting hosed. IV has dropped from 21% to 17% on SPX, but still no rejection at all despite the incredibly high volume. Just chilling. When you mention call buying, is that just general across the market? That is SPX specific on 0DTE options. That's been a common theme the past week and a half, is incredibly high volumes of calls or puts. And today it's puts. Now they are selling them at the moment. They just rocketed to 1.1 billion and then immediately sold 300 million of it. But watch the puts too, so that's the key indication. What are they going to do with the puts with this move? Retesting the prior pivot. XLF is not doing well, so they're not catching a bid. NVIDIA is stuck up here at 134. Looking across the X's, XLV has dropped big time. XLF is still dropping. And tech is, of course, saving the day. Big bottom wick back up on ES, of course. ES bounced 60-70 again. Look, another bottom wick. So the one thing I look for on Monday is there any kind of algo change on the books? And the answer is no. Same exact plan the past 3 weeks. Is every single red is immediately bottom wick for higher prices. So nothing's changed. So the only time I've considered shorts in the past 2-3 weeks is either on the imbalance move to gather inventory or continuation for the tariff move. Aside from that, it's just the only thing you can do is look for higher prices. Everything is bottom wick higher, bottom wick higher, bottom wick higher. Doesn't matter what it is. So we had a nice little red there. And then, of course, immediate bottom wick. And once they claim this 6087 level, it's 6100 all day long. If they claim it. And with that amount of volume and the fact that they're not even flinching at this area with that amount of volume, I would be cautious. Let's see. We do have some put buying, but I'm not confident in that move at all. We'll see. You're welcome, William. You're welcome. We will see here. What's NASDAQ doing right now? NASDAQ is flying. Of course. Of course. XLF is still dropping. Interesting move. Is there a correlation between Bookmap Liquid and Hero option volume? They put on a bunch of stuff. Well, I mean, obviously one's order flow and one's options flow. But the only time I see true correlation is during a strong move. Like if we're having a strong trend, especially if it's a volatile trend, then yeah, we'll see correlation. I'll see order flow. Like if we're going upside, I'll see order flow lifting higher, skewing higher with very strong call buying. But it depends, really. XLF is about to put a new low of the day in. So watch the banks. What I would love to do is put on a put, and then Trump says, yeah, we're putting tariffs, like a 98% tariff, and then we drop down to 5,800. I'm just kidding. I don't want that to happen. Could happen. Another bottom wick. They are flagging here. They're going to take it. It's going higher. It's going higher. They're going to take it. It's the same algorithm every day. Once they wipe up this pre-market high. Me no bueno. Let's do it, baby. Nvidia's going too. Yeah. What we get? Hero. So we didn't quite get down to support. 60-30, 60-35 on SPX, that little put wall there. And they're beginning to place above 60-60, which is our upside call wall. Just took 50% on Qs. Nice side gig. Tesla just top-wicked into liquidity. So Tesla is a fantastic opportunity for a play. They are putting on some major moves, and they have now sold all the way back off into their November liquidity. And they bounced back up today, and of course rejected their top tick. So, may not be a bad idea to take a look at them soon, especially if they get down to like 346, 345 area. They are buying puts now. Climbing back up here. NASDAQ still climbing. Nvidia. If there's one thing that I've learned the past 2-3 weeks for this specific environment, it's just to be patient. Because this is a very common thing. This has been happening pretty much every day, where it's just slow, grindy, bottom wick everything higher, 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 and then we'll get some sort of shakeout at some point, or volatility. So that's what I'm gonna wait for. I'm still flat. Nice. Tesla sales off 80% in Germany. I don't know, but I would hedge it if I did. Yeah. I did buy a few Google shares after the earnings drop. I like it. Smart move. They are beginning to pile into puts and sell the calls that they bought this morning. 420 in puts. XLF is still dropping here too. Dow, Russell all down. And literally, I'm just watching the mega caps roll. Meta has even given back all of their day. So Meta's red now. Amazon is just freaking launching, though. Every candle is just blasting higher and higher. But, you know, no surprise there. Nvidia is still climbing here too. So it appears, you know, the theme now is just kind of trudge along here higher until any of the mega caps join everything else and kind of drop back over. Feels like a rug pull kind of day. It's possible. I mean, that's been the theme for weeks now is this slow grindy, and then eventually we'll just have a quick precipitous sell, and then they'll bottom wicket, grind higher, and then rug pulleroni back and forth. You got to play on your feet and be patient. That's what I'm doing. $500 million in puts being purchased, and they're selling calls. The volume spike we got on 10.05, is that considered a buying climax? I think it is. I mean, that's what I normally look for that, but now I need the confirmation of the price action, which we're beginning to get a little bit of red, just a touch. And I'm watching XLF closely because the banks are, they're smoking it. In fact, most everything is dropping, with exception of the big mega caps. Now, Apple's starting to sell too. And we did get a little bit of red move here. But yeah, that's the second highest volume candle of the day, and it nearly took out the opening volume. So that's a very high volume there at 10.05. But there's no real follow through here. I mean, even this red candle, bottom wick, back out. So it's hard to say buying climax when everything is immediately bottom wicked back up. Everything. So, and I know what happens, that if you're on the wrong side of the short trade, you're going to get your face blown off with a shotgun. Because the second this thing look at that, all the way back up. The second this thing takes out 60.89, it's going to fly to 6,100 faster than you can blink. Look at NASDAQ. Not a single pullback in 15 hours. So, shotgun to the face can't be fun. I mean, y'all know what Ice Cube told you. Shotgun blasts are bad for your health. Immediate bottom wick on ES back up. Once 60.90 clears, it's going to fly to 6,100. Fly to 6,100. It's that same crap we've been dealing with for 3 weeks now. Here it comes. Yeah, XLF is getting blasted. It is. But tech is so incredibly strong. I mean, we have to apply the 2021 algorithm, is that tech is so strong, the indices aren't going to follow through. Not until they follow through. The market is mega caps. That's just the world we live in. But if XLF rebounds, then yeah, it'll fuel the fire to 6,100 and then beyond that. And everything I'm seeing here says this thing's about to freaking launch. Just watch. Both sides of the tape are active, so they are buying calls and they are buying puts. So maybe we'll have a big blast off and then a round over, just like we've been getting every day into the afternoon. Oil's dropping. Nice. Let me go run over, take a look at oil. Bam, bam. 61.70. Yeah, oil broke through their morning there, 61.80, 71.80 to 71.70. This is their major resistance for the week, too. Sorry, my painter's canceled today. I had to send a text. No gabagoo. Yeah, yesterday one of their painters freaking Diamond Dallas paged my garage door into the ground and dented it. So I had to have a talk with him. Now they canceled, yeah. Haven't paid him a dime yet, though, so no skin off my nose if they bail. The DDT, that's right. Just a simmering pot between 6,100. I'm watching the banks and everything else just go straight down. New low of the day. But the tech's so strong that they're just kind of trickling up. So, got to get immigrants for that, Ranish now. Well, these are well, the crew itself are immigrants. The owner is American citizen, I know for sure, but yeah. Diamond Dallas Page, man, DDT. Come on now. NASDAQ still straight up. At this point, NASDAQ's got 900 and then 967, which is Friday's highs. And ES is just toying with the 60-90 area. They're still aggressively buying puts, 550 and down. I think contractors and clients should each put money in escrow before a job starts. If either side flakes, the injured party keeps their earnest money. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's, getting the bond in obviously is kind of a back way of doing that, but yeah, I agree. That'd be a better way to do it. New high of the day for ES, about to explode. Y'all ready? Here we go. It's nutty watching most of the X's just downtrend, and yet ES is just about to blast. Gotta love tech. Here it is. Direct incentives work. Yeah. So I agree. That was one of the things back in the contracting days, is give them time incentives. You finish the job by this much, you get an incentive. If you finish the job early, you get an incentive. Creep up Monday. Surprise, surprise, right? We've had massive amount of volume at 10:05 and then just flat. Bottom wicks flat, but it's not about to be flat. RTY is basing at 228. Gold still hanging out. They just double topped at 29.36, but they're still hanging out high. ES new high of the day, and they're about to launch. Here it comes. Bubbling. Bubbling. Now, what happens when you have stopping power, like with the candle we had at 10:05 with the massive amount of volume, and it doesn't go anywhere? It tells you that there's way too many buyers for this market to drop. So despite the amount of volume, we're still going higher. So as bearish as an indication that it is, if it did reject, it is an equivalently bullish reaction if you have that kind of volume in and we still just keep on going. So we just put another high of the day in, immediate 10-point bottom wick, and now we're high, and now we're going to fly to 6,100. Fly 6,100. Blast off. Yet another slow creep up day. What is that? Like 15 days in a row? Jeez Louise. Or mornings at least. Fly ES fly. It's going. Theta killer. For sure. For sure, theta killer. 60.90. Guess you sent another discount. Apex? Love it. I love it. Go look at the daily chart. Of course they're sending out. Discounts. The daily chart is destructive. $60.91. It's about to fly. Let's see. They are piling into puts here too, but also calls. So same thing. Participation on both. Can't get a good read on this stupid option chain. They are playing both sides of the tape for sure because both sides of the tape are paying. What's interesting to note is that if you go back and look at all the downside action the past couple of weeks, last week specifically, is that the only time a downside play has paid is either the morning imbalance move or if a tariff moves. So the only way you're making downside moves is if you happen to caught the tariff moves or just the morning shakeout. Everything else has been grindy up. There's no way puts are paying unless you caught those two moves. Or downside shorts, whatever. Puts, shorts, doesn't matter. So it's all upside moves. Of course, Wednesday was the big upside move. That thing was freaking beautiful. But the algorithm is the same old thing every day. Grind up. Grind up. Even with this amount of volume. They sent my payment, so let me in. There you go. There you go. Still going green. I don't know the actual stats on this, but it crossed my mind last week. I'm going to start keeping stats on it. If we are at the high or low of the day, 9:30, when we marking the morning high low, we tend to go the opposite end of the chart of the day. Example that if we were at high of the day when they would set the morning high low, we are very likely to go to the morning lows of 9:30. That day is a true trend day. Is this something you've noticed, or I'm thinking to make something ahead? No, 100%. So it's one of the reasons I like the 10:30, the 1 hour range, because the market usually shake and bakes at about between that, in my imbalance trade, the 9:45 to 10:15, somewhere there, usually we have a reversal imbalance move, which makes it difficult to trade consistent accuracy on the morning high, more and low, because it pivots and then goes and it'll fake you out with a trend. Where if you capture the first hour of it, you can exploit the trend into the afternoon. So if it is a blast off trend update, it'll be very obvious by the time 10:30 comes, and then you can play that into the afternoon, especially if it pulls back into the afternoon. So like right now, we had a phenomenal amount of volume, and now we're still creeping higher, and we're just now set the morning, the first hour range, which is about 60.90. So now we'll be able to determine, is this in fact a real trend going to be afternoon? Because if they smoke this all the way down, then it's just going to be a range day down to 60.70. It'll be able to cage your bias. Whereas if you're not really privy to the fact that we have a morning range, then right now you would pretty much be euphorically bullish. This would be a huge trend up if you weren't really privy to that knowledge. We just had a 5-minute top wick, and of course, instant green back up because the algorithms haven't shifted yet. NVIDIA is still blasting. Apple's coming down. XLF is still dropping. Yeah, definitely Juicebox. Definitely. What's up, DJ? Good morning. 900 million in puts being purchased. They are piling into puts, just like last week. You have to be nimble to play these markets because things change on a dime. I'm seeing the same exact thing last week. Bullish action. While they're putting on bullish action, they are hemorrhaging into puts, if that's even a word. I guess hemorrhaging would be out of puts, but they're into puts. They're buying puts. $900 million in puts and increasing. The negative delta is rocketing. Same exact thing as last week. Literally. 900 incoming and then dump. Yeah, NASDAQ is flying. I haven't looked at NASDAQ here in a second. They are flying. They've got 900 liquid on the books. That looks like their target, and then they're going to dump it. Or at least pull back. I don't know about dump, but that initial 1005 resistance, the top wick there again, it broke higher and lower volume. Yep. Piling into puts. I have to mute. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. So the pattern of the last 2 weeks, is there any way a decent short opportunity is only in balance as a territory? Right? In this current environment, yes. That's it. Yeah, I mean, scalps. That's not counting scalps. Like if you want to scalp a red candle and find opportunity, sure, that's it. But I don't really. That's not my intent. If that happens, cool. But that's not my intent. My intent is to catch a decent move where I can hold at least 15, 20 minutes, if not hours. That's the goal. So, and right now, there's just every single bearish indication breaks down instantly. Like look at all the top wicks that we're experiencing here with volume, and it keeps on going higher because every red candle sets up, boom, green, and blast higher. So there's no real good indication for downside here unless you catch the morning imbalance or tariff news. Now maybe that algorithm changes this week, but that's just the way things are going here. XLF is getting dumped. So there is like today, for example, there's plenty of thesis for some pressure here, and we haven't gotten there yet. Now it's still early. We just set the morning range here, so we have a couple of sweeping 5-minute top wicks here. XLF keeps on plunging lower. The banks are getting smoked, but ES has not put on a red candle in an hour. It's just green, 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 despite the fact that we are seeing 1.1 billion in puts. They are just piling into puts right now. And ES is just creeping higher. So all indications say, all right, this may be a good opportunity, but look, new high of the day. It's the same exact thing every day for weeks. Same exact thing every day for weeks. And balance up and balance down. Yeah, now, the one good thing about all of this is that patience has been paying very well. If you just wait for all this shenanigan crap to clear up, the volatility has been pretty fantastic. If you're patient enough to just wait. Nasdaq's got 21,880. XLF is getting smoked, 51.30, still dropping. On down. I don't like the option chain as an indicator. Institutions use options as insurance, so they'll pile in. It puts the hedge long position. Most of the time, I agree with that sentiment most of the time. I look for, just like I look for a Bookmap, I look for skew. So if the positions are heavily skewed one direction, especially from a delta notional standpoint, it works as a pretty good litmus test. Now it has to be aggressively skewed, like obviously skewed one direction. Call, selling, put, buying. Once that happens, it's usually a pretty good indication of a shift in the tides. There's 3 top wicks in a row in the 5-minute, if it holds. Red candles. Bottom wick back up. Yep, already at least. Do we have any icebergs on it? Yes. No, we don't. No icebergs. Small, small, small red. They are still aggressively buying puts, but we need some momentum to kick off a decent volatility move. Dropping slowly. At this point, though, you definitely need big name participation to have a volatile move down, or even any kind of move down. And so far, just not going to get that. Bottom wick, back up. I need Dan, the Gabagoo market maker. Funny thing is, we're just a tweet away from all the analysis going out the window. You are 100% right. And that's why IV is high and VIX is still holding up in the 16s. That's why we're still carrying a 20 VIX, or a 20 IV, is because of that. One tweet and we'll be under 60-50. Yeah. Hey! Wow, that's the first time that's happened in forever. They just bottom wicked a red candle back to green. Hold on, let me screenshot that. Maybe a little bump from XLV? Maybe. Maybe. Oh, man. Nasdaq still going higher. Chinese trucking call still boosted. I guess tariffs help. Nasdaq's 2.5% away from all-time highs. Yep. Very, very green. Another 5-minute. They managed to close that red candle green just in the nick of time before the new candle started. The new candle started immediately green, so the algorithms are still buying. Top wick, higher. Top wick, higher. There we go. Here comes 6,100. Here comes the volume. So on the daily, does this mean that the drop on Friday was just value for insiders? 100%, that's what that means. Yeah. So, yeah. I wonder what's the P&L for this jabroni who long 730. Probably a lot. Probably a lot. $30-point recovery on ES, inching its way higher. Absolutely terrible price action. So 60.75 is now the call wall, so they're moving that up. With the one-day implied move, it's 6,100 on SPX, and of course 6,100 is our macro call wall target right here. Microsoft is hit by an antitrust probe. Bulls blasting that. Oh my gosh, yeah. What's the expectation to see at a call wall? I mean, I would expect a rejection, but that's not going to happen. They're just going to creep on right through it and just creep on this. You know, we're going to be 97 years old, and ES will still have not top wicked and held. Tech is way too strong today. Way too strong. It's the only thing holding it up. Here comes 6,100. Here comes 6,100. One second. I have to make a call. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. 6105 still a significant level. Yes. Yep. It's not because they cleared 6105 on Friday. It's a minimal. It's minimized from last week's significance, but it's still significant to get through. And once you get through that, then it'll be attacking the Friday size. So, yeah. We now have 1 billion in calls and puts, so they're piling into both contracts. Oil's not tradable this morning? Yeah. Can we make halftime shows great again? Let me see. Oh, man. Best halftime show in history right there. Oh, yeah. That's when football and music was great, man. 2000s. Good times. Good times. Good times. Hard to beat Prince's halftime show? I'd have to look at it. I don't think I ever saw Prince's halftime show. My drill instructor would blare Purple Rain in the barracks every day. So I can't listen to that song anymore. You can't go in with Nasdaq scalpers mindset on CL. Yeah. They told him the weather report called for rain. Prince asked if they can make it rain harder. Love it. Garth Brooks' halftime show. Never saw that one either. I've hung out with Garth Brooks before. Just looking around. Nothing's changed. Another red candle, of course, instantly bottom wicked. Same old, same old. We've had two volume inflows here. One at 10.05, one at 10.35. Both have resulted in higher prices. And we have another red candle here, instantly bottom wicked. So, unfortunately, is that when this market moves lower, it's going to happen quickly and aggressively, where the move will already be made. So, I'll clap for anything trashing on Drake. I'll be just a few years before some 20-year-old up there has his favorite playlist on shuffle. Nice. I couldn't tell you any of your songs, so I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. got here? We are now at about 930 million calls and puts. We have a small top wick, but of course we can't get too excited. This is where the test happened on Friday, which is about the 69 block. So a little bottom wick, a little top wick, and then roll over right here. But of course, patience is a virtue. Apologize if you're using that link. I'll get you back on. SPY, there you go. Zoom out to the daily chart and look at oil. What do you see? Why did I say oil is a temporary long? Gas price is too high. Other than economic. Hey, look, another bottom wick on ES. It's because, one, oil has been downtrending since January 15th. So literally every day has been a pretty large sweeping downtrend, with exception of a few candles. If you want to look for a reversal on the daily chart, you have to look for a macro change of character. Oil did that 2 days ago. It broke above the high of the downtrend, and then took out the high of the prior two candles, which is a change of character. Now, all you need today is a closure of over 71.82, and you'll get the official timestamp and a possible long back up to about 73.5, 74. Now, of course, if you want to look from a more of a economic standpoint, we have another big cold strip coming through the country as well as the world. Natural gas is going crazy, and then, of course, the supply demands of oil. So we'll see. I acquired a stray horse yesterday, standing in my driveway and wanted to meet my Mustang mare. I opened the gate and let him in. Now they're inseparable. You just foul like a stray horse? Love it. Send oil into the abyss. Give me cheap oil prices. 100%, baby. 100%. Now I got Creed stuck in my head. All right, so the morning high is 6089 for ES. We just had a nice red candle on ES, and of course, insta bottom wick all the way back up. Any kind of downside, now that the morning range is set, any kind of downside has to get under 6089. That's the morning range. So we just had a nice red candle all the way back down to it, insta wick back up, which was only like 3 or 4 points. So 6089. It's going to be an uptrend day until that level breaks. Unrelated, but I listened to this podcast at night, and this morning is phenomenal. Anyone looking to optimize health is a great listen and very eye-opening. Insulin and glucose doctor. This will strip you fat faster than anything. I'll take a look. Yeah, I like that stuff. United States credit quality remains resilient despite some mixed review trends. Good. So that's the only way that I'm liquidating any kind of bond transactions, is if they start messing with the credit ratings. They've already done it once. They already reduced the credit rating from AAA plus to AAA, 2 years ago? So if they reduce it any further, I would liquidate any treasuries. So, yeah. We do have CPI this week. Can you take me higher? 1.1 billion in puts. They are still piling into puts and calls, for that matter. 970 million in calls. So they're buying both of them. Microsoft flying. With Trump's control of the Treasury, wouldn't it be possible for him to decide not to pay interest to Chinese bondholders in order to reduce the budget? I guess that's a possibility. That would, I mean, obviously, you know, not the smartest cat over here, but that seemed like that would probably be a terrible decision. It's not China's fault that they bought the best product in the world. It's all for our fault. We sold it to them. So, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's a possibility. I don't think it's a likelihood, but then again, who knows? I don't know. I think that would cause a pretty, yeah, that would be pretty bad, probably from economic and militarily. Also talk of disregarding some treasuries, which by definition is defaulting. True. If we lose the confidence of world markets won't be able to borrow operations, then boom. Yep. So there is a part of this TLT that you have to ask yourself the question: if the bond market is still inside of the longest bear market in history and just won't recover for anything, then what is causing it and what's the risk going forward? Because if it's doing something it's never done, when will it stop doing stuff it's never done? You know, are we being naive to think that it's just going to recover like it's always done the past 130 years? So that's the risk to the trade. So I wish you'd stop running the government like it's a business. Oh, man. Y'all know how I feel. Whoa, what happened to my trading view? I just had a data latency spike. That usually means a big move. If this thing dumps after I just got that, then that's going to be the all-time indicator. So I really want to go short. It's eating my soul. Well, you need 60.89 first. Now, I just had a data latency spike, which I only get that when the price actually starts to move. So let's see if that actually is the case. Uh-oh. 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 Can it hold 60.89? Stuck in my head, too. U.S. Treasury feels making accurate and timely payments might be the sole group of government officials. Trust in the government do not go well together, so. Hey, bottom wick. They're bottom wicking the morning high, so that's the morning high area. It's going to be on a day like today, it's going to be very difficult for the bears to get back under that price. Very difficult. We've had monumental volume come in, doesn't blink an eye. So 60.89 is the point at which you cannot short until we clear that level. It's just, it's going to be too strong. Let's see. There we go, US. The New York Fed one-year consumer inflation expectation just posted in line, which wasn't really a big catalyst we were waiting for, but there you go. If he goes after the IRS, I'll do the Trump dance every day. I will make a 30-minute YouTube video of me just doing the dance. That's it. If he bans the IRS. But he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it. He'll probably get killed if he does that. Man, this is slow. That's insane that the government's essential and needs money. It's a necessary evil. Man, I don't want to go down this road. This is the taxation is one thing that I'm very, very strong-headed about because I've been in the government world. I've spent government dollars as a contracting specialist, and there's fraud, waste, and abuse from the bottom level to the top, and it's terrible. I do agree, taxation is a necessary evil, but at what point is it too much? Like I think we can all agree, like it needs to be pulled back. So. Accountability. We need accountability, buddy. That's what we need. But you don't pull it back by destroying it. Yeah. Hey, we find the gun under 6089. Where can we go? Where can we go? There's also a lot of waste at the corporate level. Oh, 100% there is. Yeah. 100%. So, let's not talk about local state taxes. Yeah, that's a different fight. You know, the state local area is a different fight for sure. We're under 6089, which is the morning high. It's slow. There's no volume. Like I said, I'm curious how this data latency spike is going to get me. Because that's something I usually don't see unless we have a big move. And it kind of did start moving a touch when I got that. 1.2 billion in puts and still piling into it. Right here. But it's slower than molasses. And bottom wick back up. Oh, this is awful price action. What time is it? It's almost time to get off. This is atrocious. HOA. Don't even get me started on HOA. Don't even get started on HOA. I live in the DC area. I know so many federal employees and contractors. Their kids are my kids' friends. None of them froth in the mouth. I'm trying to America. Well, yeah, I do agree with you with that too, man. I mean, you know, everything we see on Twitter and news is like it's the polarized aspect. It's the super left people and the super right people who are just like yapping the loudest. You never hear about the perspective of the middle people. And you're 100%. I agree with that. And that's why I try not to get into Republican Democrat debates because, you know, I don't hate anyone for voting for Kamala or anybody else or Biden. Because it's not about the people, it's about the government. I hate the government because the government is dividing us and killing us and spending our money like it's going out of style. So I'm always people versus government, not people versus people. But that's my spiel. That's part of being America, though, man. That's what makes us American. There's a underlying tide of anti-government in the American blood. That's what separates us from the world. That's why we're America. I do not see how HOAs do not get bought. It's like they own my property. I couldn't live in an HOA, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'm gonna have some guy roll up in flip flops and a sweater vest, tell me I can't build a fence on my property. Oh man. Anyway, we're chit chatting now. Market's not moving. Market's not moving. I hate days like this. It's terrible. This is the worst style of price action, where it just won't move. It won't take liquidity. It counters any kind of VPA signal. The puts are piling in and it won't move. It's terrible. When you get a chance, can you tell us what the daily candles on Bitcoin tell me? Yeah, sure. Let's go take a look. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Uh, 97,000. I remember in 81 when I came to the USA to study and people were friendly. Now people are rude and only care about themselves. I think that has a lot to do with social media. I think that we become so narcissistic collectively about likes and comments in social media. That's kind of destroyed us. On a completely unrelated note, if you all wouldn't mind, head over to my YouTube channel and like my video. That would help me big time. Just kidding. No, I definitely think there's an aspect to that. All right. Anyway, sorry, Space Cadet. All right, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is consolidating at about mid 90,000s. They got up to about 108, down to 91, 92. They have been rocketing now since September of 24. And yeah, let me look at this. Let's see, 108,927 down to 91,435. They're consolidating. They've been pretty range bound now for about a week. Not a lot of movement there. It appears they're consolidating for another move higher. That's what it looks like to me. So that's what it looks like. 97,225 up to 108, 109, and then after that higher. There's no signs of major rejection there from here. So for me, anything under 90.5, 90,500, that's where I would put a line. Anything under 90,500, that's liquidation central. That's where I would look. Other than that, I would remain bullish until that level gives out. You're welcome. Enter Sandman in my head. Love it. YouTube like or dislike. I love it. The Shameless OM plug, promoting his own channel. Yeah. I spoke to a guy yesterday on a golf course that wished death on Trump. Yeah. Yeah. What Bitcoin was level? What did I say? 90,500? I got it marked on the chart. Let me go look. Yeah, 90,500. Bring me a higher love. Oh. Sanders has been saying that for years, but he's considered a wacko. What did he say? Oh. The government in a GIF. Oh my gosh. Hey, Bottomwick. They did put liquidity down to 6075. 1.7 billion. Nope. I'm sorry. 1.27 billion in puts. No. Apparently just updated. 1.6 billion in puts. So they are literally scrambling towards the puts like Nancy Pelosi scrambles towards NVIDIA calls. All the way down. They did remove a lot of liquidity here. coming up on European close. XLF new low of the day. How y'all think that guy had like 1 trillion in Bitcoin on a hard drive he tossed in the trash? Whew. I don't know if I'd be able to live with myself. You know how much power you could have to have that much Bitcoin right now? Not only could you obviously change your own life and everyone else's around you if you're generous, but you could move the price on Bitcoin if you just sold all that to the exchange. It'd be beautiful. With great power comes great responsibility. Red candles. Red candles. What are they going to do with this? 1.7 billion in puts. They are piling into puts. Piling into puts. NASDAQ is not moving. If NASDAQ has any kind of pullback, which they're much needed pullback, I think ES has a good potential to reclaim a lot of this range. We're back inside the morning range, but we need NASDAQ to join the fun in order for ES to kind of come on down and retest the morning low. Me being a connoisseur of volatility, it would be fantastic. It would hurt more if you're struggling to get by. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. He could make a YouTube series out of that. Finding $1 trillion and a heap of garbage. He should get with Mr. Beast to do that. All right, finally got a little red. And so far, the data aggregation is working well. The data aggregation is working well. Volume. NASDAQ's finally deciding to drop just a hair. XLF is getting smoked. 1.9 billion in puts on the Hero. We have European close in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Imagine in the end he believed he threw it out, but like he'll be like 90 years old and find it in an old box. He could have lived his whole life wealthier than beyond imagine. I think that would be worse. Never neglect the Nintendo 64. Oh, yeah. Yeah, XLF is getting bamboozled. Microsoft is still trickling higher. All of small caps are still diminishing, like bonds got smoked. And they are, I mean, the put activity is significant here. Significant. So, and we're coming into the European close with reckless abandon here. Dropping hard. 60.82. But what can they do with this? With James Bond still in it? Oh, now that Xbox loaded, you know, 007 on the on the Xbox store, it's great. It's great. It's one of those games that it's not great because it's nostalgic. It's great because it's great. Period. All right, we finally have some red. We're under 60.89. The sellers are taking this thing over, and the great thing is, kind of like what we talked about, if XLF flies, then everything's going to fly. If everything drops with XLF, it's going to smoke it the other way around, so it works both ways here. Now, do we get it? I hope so, because I love volatility. 1.9 billion in puts being purchased, and they're selling calls. But we need momentum. We have a prior bounce at 60.80, 60.79ish, which is that 10.25 move. We have liquidity down to 60.75. Nvidia is beginning to trickle ever so gently, but everything else is getting rocked. Small caps, Dow, XLF, the VIX is going up. Puts are being bought at an alarming rate. But can we get 60.75? And here we go. In 1.5 hours, Trump sits down to start signing all the executive orders, so we'll have a flurry of news headlines. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, we have European close here in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Wouldn't those EOs have been priced in already? Yeah, sure, but we know that he's a price action mover now, so. What are the major catalysts this week? We have whatchamacallit. I just completely lost my train of thought. We have Powell testimony tomorrow. Some people could call it a test of money. And then we have CPI Wednesday, which CPI, meh, whatever. But it's there. Bottom wick. Green candles. Right here. Microsoft just won't go down whatsoever. Neither will NVIDIA. Everything is dropping except those two. Amazon dropped a little bit, but they're still hanging out up high. Meta completely recovered. So now the weakest one of tech, Meta, they've recovered. So of course Nasdaq won't fall. Everything is flying. We're now going on, heck, 15 hours straight with not a single pullback for Nasdaq. But you know me, man. I like those days in the afternoon. I hate them in the morning, but in the afternoon I love them because all that profit taking after 15 to 20 hours straight of buying, they smoke like 150 points. And that's when you could turn a little money into a lot of money into the afternoon. And he has completely recovered all the red. No volatility for us. What we got? Public enemy number one. Oh my gosh. Looks like Top Step is adding a new feature. You could set a trailing stop on your profit and loss statement. Interesting. Not a terrible idea. Although I don't really like that for, I don't like trading off of your P&L, but that's definitely needed for some of y'all. For everybody, not y'all. Done. Be back around about 12:50. I'll be back. May trade by then. Nothing this morning. Nice, Damien. I'm being patient. I'm waiting. All right, y'all. Let's see. 2.5 minutes till Euro close. Nvidia's finally starting to pull back just a hair. 1.8 billion in puts, and they're selling the crap out of some calls. Everything is lining up for a pullback, but the tech is just simply not having it. So obviously the ES is going to hang out here in limbo. So there you go. Trade other stuff. Shouldn't have any questions really, but if you do, shoot me a DM, hit them up in the channel. Very, very low participation day to day because everything has kind of been counter signal, which is no bueno, no confirmation because everything breaks down so quickly. I would put a decent likelihood of a decent down move on NASDAQ into the end of the day just simply because of profit taking. Usually that happens when we do something like this. And yeah, right here. We will see what happens. Daily ES candle still early in the day is having weak volume so far. Yeah, so the ES volume candle here on the daily is a very, very large green candle with abysmal volume. Terrible. But that doesn't matter in terms of bullishness. We have to see what happens. If they climb it up on low volume and hold the green, that just says it's very bullish because there's no sellers to participate or caring about that it's this high, and up we go. So I would watch out for that. Do you take any trades today? I haven't taken any trades. I got pretty close a couple of times, but I didn't take any trades. Yeah, its volume's terrible. $60.84, still trickling back up. I feel the imbalance last night. Moves have already been made pre-market. Yeah. Yeah. We're now into the European close. 20 seconds in. There you go. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it a day. Any questions, let me know. And other than that, I will see y'all bright and early tomorrow. Just review tomorrow's news event schedule. Powell testifies. 3-year bond auction. A bunch of FOMC speeches. And that's it. And of course, Wednesday is CPI. So I went back and looked at the J. Powell testimonies just to see if there's anything associated with them. There's not really any volatility associated with them. So I wouldn't get really hyped up on that. Maybe a couple of shaking and baking 5-10 point candles on what he says, but other than that, I wouldn't really focus too much on volatility with that. I think right now it's kind of centered on the tariff stuff. So yeah, if anything changes, I'll let you know. If I see any tweets or news updates, I'll post it in the news channel that I created, the news events channel. And yeah, y'all don't get chopped up, don't do anything dumb, and have a good rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out. See ya.